The circle hates being a circle. A circle is even and neutral, the Switzerland of shapes. The circle would rather be a stick figure like its friends, with a straight line and a quick mind. A stick figure has an individual, specific gift. Some are excellent at math. Some are amazing at pencil sketches. Others are great at archery. A circle could do any of these things, but stick figures, they could always do it better. But as the circle draws on more shapes, it drew the conclusion that being a circle ain't so bad. The circle is the jack of all trades. Who has ever heard of a stick figure that can draw, shoot an arrow, and solve complex differential equations? Single-sided stick figures can only do one thing, and all the other shapes the circle passed by, the rectangle, the pentagon, the hexagon, they all have sharp corners. The circle wasn't edgy, or narrow, or a line segment. So, as the circle continued to roll by, it came around and realized it's nice being well-rounded.
The rhombus is pretentious, superficial, superfluous. A diamond with value, 4 corners, and credit cards ready for a spending binge. The rhombus likes her mom, the triangle, more than her 4-sided father, a symmetrical square. The triangle and the square have no chance of controlling this teenager of shapes. The rhombus acknowledges her brother, the circle, but she doesn't talk to him very much. He has his own problems. No one in the Polygon household likes their shape. The triangle wishes she had the rhombus's figure. The square thinks if he was a rectangle in his youth, he could have bagged a rhombus. The circle is glad he's not a triangle, like his mom, because even the most masculine triangles are still mistaken for girls. But despite the fact that the circle covers a lot of surface area, he envies the rhombus. Perhaps he wishes he had an edge. And out of everyone in the Polygon household, the rhombus should be more than happy with her shape. If it weren't for those fucking stars and cylinders.
Stick figures should stay out of the sticks. Once they go in, they don't come out. Why would they want to? It's an orgy in there.
The heart is rather offended that the human race has named its shape after the grotesque, slimy, disgusting, thumping muscle in your chest. It would rather have been labeled something more pure and genuine, like love or affection. But heart doesn't realize the human race also equates those with something else. Of course, Heart and Rhombus, the two besties, have no perspective on love or affection. They think they do, but their idea of a relationship comes from the club and the spade, two mindless cards who lost their deck long ago. Their accumulating love amounts to hanging out in the food court, getting in trouble with the mall octagons, making out during an entire war epic, and talking inanely about the controversies surrounding intersuit dating and unprotected shuffling.
Beware of the weather gang. Cloud, lightning bolt, moon, raindrop, wind. They are very unpredictable and rarely understood. There isn't enough reason to be poetic at the expense of being articulate. They are rude, disruptive, narcissistic, asymmetrical thugs. But don't hate them because they are mean. All the other shapes have purpose, reason, useful meanings, specific formulas, dimensions. A cloud can be anything. Is it supposed to rain? Are you depressed? Are clouds what you think about? Does the cloud look like something to you? Why can't a cloud just look like a cloud? Shapes think they have problems. Try being wind. No matter how much it tries to depict the beauty of a gentle, cool breeze on a hot day, most shapes assume it's just a passing fart.
The Pentagon is the leader of the misfits. Heptagon, hendecagon, tridecagon. These shapes are prime for embarrassment. The triangles, those bitches, make fun of these misfits all the time. Triangles are odd, too, and terribly disproportionate. They usually have a huge, pointy ass. Even the rare find of a triangle with a nice rack so often ends up being a dick. The trouble is there are so many triangles. Skinny ones, fat ones, right ones, isosceles ones, equilateral ones, scalene ones. The other shapes simply accept triangles as normal. But triangles, those sad excuses for stars, are not normal, and they should start treating pentagons and all of the other misfits as shapes. And for your information, triangles, a pentagon's angles are not all wrong, you necrophiliacs, dumpster fuckers. You guys always assume a pentagon is just a square with a hump on its back or a hexagon with a chip on its shoulder. Why doesn't any other shape believe the truth? That the Pentagon has spent hours upon hours in the gym getting those broad shoulders. Is it the octagon that spreads rumors? An octagon always stops at the gym, but there's a shape that frankly needs to give up. At some point in time, a shape has so many sides it might as well be a circle. 5 sides is enough. A little extra, but not too much to love, and points in all the obtuse places.
When the world comes to an end, we will blame the Parallelogram. Anything that bent on ruling the world must be crooked. The Parallelogram insists to his friends, well, the friends that he says he has, that he is terribly, comparably unparalleled to all other shapes. Of course, this only gives the other shapes the impression he's a disfigured parallelogram. There is only one shape that hangs out with the parallelogram, his maniacal sidekick, the trapezoid. They fit well together. Well, at least their slanted side, but the trapezoid isn't as crooked as the parallelogram. It's more conflicted. It has at least one side with a level foundation of reasoning. It could have joined the rest of shape society, except for the hump and the sagging posterior. How it longs for the domesticated triangle or the pretentious rhombus, or even an obtuse octagon. But neither the parallelogram nor trapezoid is very smart. That's why they have never succeeded. You would think a shape could get through a math major, but when your professor is a square, every angle has to be right or straight. Those kind of degrees aren't worth it.
The circle's never-ending search for love is far from a revolution, but it is circular. After a few dates with another shape, the circle always seems to go back to the very beginning. It could never get very far with any geometrical shape, because all of the other shapes, squares, octagons, dodecahedrons, have a certain number of sides. Did a circle have a side at all? That's why the circle always hangs out with stick figures. And square and triangle don't mind. These parental units don't want circle or rhombus hanging out with ambiguous symbols like minus, division, square root. All they do is negatively affect others. At least stick figures are mildly productive in some talent, as long as they stay away from the forest. But once the circle started reading A Lover's Guide to Triangles by Marvin Hotness Pythagoras, he started to find triangles left and more left. But every triangle the circle met always came with baggage. Some root problem that just didn't add up. This triangle was too acute. This one was too obtuse. This one was too politically correct. This one was two-faced. This one had no symmetry. But Pythagoras knew his stuff. And by some centrifugal force, the circle finally met the right triangle.
Is it wrong? Is it bad? Is it sorry? Is it sad? Is it the biggest or smallest pile of crap? Should it leave? Should it quit? Is it stupid? Is it shit? Will the awfulness of it make you crack? Should it bomb? Should it die? If it doesn't, will you cry? Does it stink? Is it scum? Is it going to make you dumb? Do you have the will to live to make it through? The end credits too. It sucks to